Yeah.
So now let's suppose if you were to see the president today, what would you likely to tell him?
I will praise him. I have to thank him, right? Just to thank him, so that he can keep it up.
You've been queuing here since what? Since
in the morning, since 6 o'clock.
Is this your first time joining the queue?
It's my first time to join the queue.
Why? Because of the price?
Yeah, because of the price.
Okay, now let's suppose if you were to see President Jammeh today, what would you like to tell him?
I'll tell him that you have been helping the people, and we have seen your kind gesture to the people of the Gambia, and you are friendly to your people.
They are a people united by a sacrifice made by the Gambian leader. It is estimated that about 1,500 cattle have been slaughtered since the start of the Ramadan, which is pretty much a hurt. But people close to the president have said the Gambian leader will have slaughtered twice as much just to satisfy the populace.
You know, even if it was like the Ramadan was not ended, you know, I'm sure he have the heart for the Gambians to kill or to slaughter even 10,000 bulls for the Gambians, because his aim is always to see that Gambians, they are always afford. And then if you look at the kilo, how much you are selling a kilo? We're selling a kilo for $55, $60, which you cannot have it, in none of these, butcher shops. So he's going at a loss, but he wants Gambians also to afford it, so that every Gambian can have at least, what to take to your family.
It was only a few days ago when the president himself spoke of his intention to go beyond this enormous gesture.
I'm praying hard for the Almighty Allah to give me the opportunity where one day I can supply meat during the month of Ramadan free of charge. That's my objective. And inshallah, that's it. Allah is capable of everything, and I know one day I will do it.
I mean, the people that are rushing to your stalls, your Excellency, to cover that will be even a problem.
Well, it's not possible to give everybody. Yes. But at least when we say every day we kill, like what we are doing now. So if you come and you have it, that's it. If you don't have it, that's it. You can wait for another day.
It is not after all about wealth, but the president's offer, according to Maimuna Barrow of Dipakunda, is already free.
President dimbele nañu lol. Dimbe na réew mi, dimbele na jullit ñi, waaye dimbele na nag aji néew doole yi. Bañ ooree ba léegi, lu jaboot néew doole, soo amee téeméeri dërëm sa njaboot lekk ba suur, loolu rek dafal yàlla la. Lim ci am di ko def, waayang ko am tiye ko toog ci.
Mberi Sow went even further to catalog his gift for this year's Ramadan alone as significant. Let us put politics aside, she said, and speak the truth. A great number of people have benefited from the many donations of the president, and it must be said he is not the only one capable of doing them, but he is perhaps the only one with the heart to sacrifice, she concluded. The stock from his ranch has to pass through the required medical test before it is allowed out to the consumers. Dr. Amadou Diallo is a public health veterinary officer stationed at the abattoir.
Our role here generally is to make sure that anything that's come out here, is properly inspected, or before the inspection is properly slaughtered in a very good sanitary condition. We are here for the public health, veterinary public health. So we want to make sure that anything that goes out is safe for the public to consume. And that's why we are here. Anything that is bad, we have to condemn. But anything that is good, it have to go.
In other words, no cattle will leave the abattoir here if it is not healthy.
No, it's not. If it is not healthy, it cannot go. Because we do the inspection before we slaughter, and then after we slaughter. Before we slaughter, there are certain diseases that we look for that are not visible when you slaughter. So now when you slaughter also, there are certain diseases that we look for that are not visible before they are slaughtered. So that is our main role, to make sure that anything going out is good for human consumption.
In other words, all the cattle being slaughtered by the president since the start of the Ramadan are healthy and fit for consumption.
They are very healthy. We are not saying that for any reason, but we are saying that as professional, we have the best animals so far that are slaughtered here. We have series of animals coming from different butchers, but the one coming from the president's farm are special.
After stamping them okay, the meat is then weighed and certified. This one in particular has hit the mark, but the clerk said there are usually orders with better weight. What is the average an average cattle weight here?
240, 150. It has different categories. 70, 65. It depends on the size of the animal.
It depends on the size of the animal.
So, yes.
Okay, but all the animals slaughtered by the president are healthy and then they weight very good.
They are very healthy. They are examined by the doctors, and when they are ready, we weigh it.
So you observe a series of procedures here before you let them out.
Yes.
The 30 days have gone by peacefully, leaving room for assessment and prayers. Captain Amadou Jammeh agreed the period has been smooth with relatively rough patches. It has been difficult, he said, getting officials to serve as guarantors for interested vendors.
But sometimes it's very funny to see people doing the actual price.
It was difficult.
It's very difficult. But what I urge the president, next time, let us open our own outlets.
That's your suggestion? That Kanilas will have own outlets with hired butchers that will work there?
Yes, sir. Otherwise, it will bringing low prices to the people. It will not be possible unless we have our own this thing.
Abdunjai, GRTS.
Muslims the world over are gearing up for the fast approaching Eid celebrations locally known as Grts. The feast is characterized by huge preparations with celebrants marking last-ditch efforts to go shopping. Our Fatou Jasseh takes a look at what some of the shoppers are eyeing ahead of the Grts.
Up to the Muslim feast of Eid al-Fitr, commonly known as Grts, is often characterized by massive preparation. The usually busy Serakunda market was again the scene of significant activity as the clock winds down on the holy month of Ramadan, which culminates with the celebration of the Eid. The vast market has an array of clothes and other products on display as vendors prepare for the lucrative Grts sales. From clothing, both locally made ones to ready-made ones to unsewn clothes, the market remains a bustling sight full of ambience and color. Mati Sise came to make what she refers to the traditional Grts shopping. She will buy clothes for her kids for the feast. Mati, however, complains of the high cost of the items on sale compared to relatively cheap prices of last year. Despite the increase in market value of some of the ready-made clothing, she managed to buy African attire and European wear for her children. For vendors such as Basiru Jallo, business has stalled a little bit when compared to various Grts sales. Basir attributes the lull to the low spending powers of most people. Another phase of the pre-Grts activity is the demand for the services of the tailors. Here at the tailoring shop, Mathida and Maimunangam took their clothes for sewing. They explain how important it is to get their Grts attire completely sewn before the feast. They have taken their materials to the tailor very early to avoid the late rush for the services of tailors. Tailoring atelier employees such as Gaddafi Njai said the demanding nature of the various styles in designing the materials they sew oblige owners to increase the employment rate so as to reduce the workload and finish the job on time. For Yunusa Sise, the proprietor of the tailoring shop, said customer satisfaction is key in their work. The two styles called Chahabung and Balagay are mostly in demand for the Grts this year, he added. The demanding nature of designing the material prompted him to increase the number of his working group. The girls fix the beads, whilst others cut the material and the rest tie the thread. The rush for the Grts activities is evident in the market, but despite the availability of materials, many are attributing the low sale to the high prices of goods. For GRTS News, I am Fatou Jasseh.
The heavy downpour that inundated parts of the Greater Banjul area in the past 24 hours has claimed 2 lives. Officials from the Vice President's Office, National Disaster Management Agency, and the Kanifing Municipal Council have been touring the affected areas to survey the damage. Our Babakar Kamara went along and he reports the 2 victims have not been identified.
We sympathize and empathize with the affected families. My advice is, as we have always said, people should do everything possible not to build in swampy areas. They should also ensure that when they build infrastructure, when they build houses, they also have to have in mind that these houses, some of them could be vulnerable, depending on the materials that are used to build those houses, as well as depending on the location of those houses. Where are those houses located?
They sad to mourn the untimely death of an 8-year-old boy, flowing heavy rains and sudden thunders that is believed to have sparked the house of the Dickies and his mother still under medical attention.